And hello, everyone. It's time for episode 3 of the Box Office Shuffle. I'm one of your hosts, Thomas, aka Mr. Wartburg. Alongside me, as always, is Chris, aka Gamma Caruchador.
Yo!
And joining us is Joe/Joe.
Hey, boys.
This week, we watched Kingsman: The Secret Service, a film from Matthew Vaughn, which was all the way back in 2015. I had the year wrong. I thought it was 2014, but it's 2015, early 2015s though. So it's still almost a 10-year-old film. It's like 9.5 years old at this point, which does not feel like it's been that long. Before we get into it, other than myself, because I kind of went ham on Prime Day, did any of you guys add anything to your physical collections lately?
No, I'm poor.
Haven't done anything.
Because if you don't know, everybody, we are a podcast that will go through our physical media collections that each of us all have. We run them through a shuffler, and then every episode we're watching a different film from a different person's collection. Kingsman: The Secret Service was from my collection. Last episode we watched Galaxy Quest, which was from Chris's collection, and we started our very first episode with The Godfather from Joe's collection. So at the end of this episode, we'll actually be going through and picking a new order for the next kind of round of people. We potentially won't go in the same order, and then we'll pick the next movie at the end of this episode. So for me, like I said, I went nuts on Prime Day, and I think I bought like 19 movies. I'd have to go through the list here. I have the photo. Where did I put the photo? I had the photo. It's a lot of movies. Like I had a TV show, which I had to take back. I bought The Sandman Season 1, which I had to return because it had a deep scratch on disc 1, and episodes 1 and 3 had some major corruption scenes that like super glitchy, distorted visual, no audio, and then I had to like skip back and forth to get the audio to re-engage. It was a pain.
Like my Shrek DVD.
It's not good.
Was that on Blu-ray?
It's 4K Blu-ray, yeah.
4K Blu-ray, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
That has no relation to Spider-Man, does it? Sandman?
No. Sandman is technically, I think, owned by DC. It's just kind of off in its own Elseworld kind of thing. It's a Neil Gaiman comic. Obviously, he's in the news for some not great reasons now, so I'm not being like, yes, buy. I don't know if I'll rebuy this, but it was just unwatchable in some scenes, so I had to send it back. I bought Fifth Element, John Wick Chapter 4, Air Force One, Groundhog Day, Clue, Field of Dreams, Mad Max Fury Road, Apollo 13, the Back to the Future trilogy, the Daniel Craig collection, and a Stanley Kubrick 3-film collection of The Shining, 2001: A Space Odyssey, and Full Metal Jacket, all on 4K UHD. I also went thrift shopping. My sister did for me. She bought a few other films. She bought Constantine. And what was the other film? She showed me the photos. I'll have to look it up. I just got an alert for somebody I follow on Twitch just got hacked. It's a crypto scam.
Oh, that's fun.
That's nice.
It's a crypto scam going around, I guess. And they got on...
Crypto's the way of the future, man. What are you talking about?
Yeah, definitely. Oh, 22 Jump Street. That was the other one.
Ooh.
Oh my god, I love those movies.
So now I have both of those, and I got Constantine, which I didn't own. Like, okay,
I haven't
I'll
seen
take that.
Constantine, but I've heard it's fantastic.
Oh my god, dude!
I want to see it.
Constantine's
Like,
good.
I'm hoping
shit.
it comes up soon here.
Okay.
I haven't seen that, and I know it's really good. So.
Okay, I might have to maybe goose some numbers. We'll see what happens. But I really, really love that movie. It's not like true to comics, Constantine, all that much, but it's a great supernatural movie. Like, it's just really good. Very well made. And I hope, with all this multiverse stuff going around, I need Keanu Reeves, I need Matt Ryan, and I need, from Sandman, Joanna Constantine. She was one of the companions also on Doctor Who. Just a live-action John Constantine movie. I think, oddly enough, other than Batman maybe, it would be the perfect multiverse character. Just to have multiple versions of this character that wants nothing to do with the multiverse. Who's all just like, God fucking damn it. I just want to go to a bar, get drunk, and maybe exorcise some demons. Is that so hard? Like, that would be the perfect character for it, and 3 great actors for it. Oh, it'd be awesome.
That's actually so weird to think about that, because I just watched Crisis on Two Earths, I think yesterday or the day before, and I didn't even realize, but it's like, that's a Batman technically
Multiverse,
going
yeah.
into a multiverse. And at the beginning of the movie, he says, "I don't want to go because I don't care. I want to worry about here." So literally, he's
Exactly.
the most "I don't care about the multiverse" character.
Yeah, this is stupid.
That's very funny.
Like, those two characters would be perfect for a DC multiverse, because DC did
Yeah.
it first. Like, DC's been about the multiverse since the 50s, like with the Justice
yeah.
Society and the Justice League and the two Flash crossover, and it's been about that since the beginning. But anyway, that's enough about that. We got to talk about Kingsman: The Secret Service. Let me pull up my fact sheet here. Like I said, it released February 12th, 2015. Was directed by Matthew Vaughn, who's done a number of other films I enjoy, most notably Kick-Ass, which was 2010, then rolled right into X-Men First Class, which may be the best X-Men movie, at least of the Foxverse. Kingsman: The Golden Circle would come later in 2017, as well as The Kingsman, the prequel, in 2021. That was one of those movies that COVID pushed. It was going to be 2020. It was actually, I think, going to be that October, and then they pushed it to the next spring once theaters kind of reopened. And then most recently that me and Joey watched, which we were both not fans of, Argyle, released earlier this year. It was, I don't want to say it's the worst movie ever made, because it wasn't. It was just, man, it just did not come together. Like, it was one of those movies where the parts were greater than the whole. It just didn't come together.
Gotcha.
That's how I took from it. I don't know what Joey's thoughts were.
I mostly there's good bits in it, but not a good like Tom's saying, didn't come together.
Yeah, like Sam Rockwell. I mean, for me, we saw it on a matinee, and I was like, I mean, worst matinee for Sam Rockwell, being just having fun.
Did he
You know?
dance?
I think he did.
Yeah, I feel like he dances in everything that he's in.
I think he did. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a dancing skating scene.
There's several
in oil.
dancing scenes in that movie.
It's
Yes.
kind of wild. We'll leave it there.
It's weird.
Yeah.
It gets like kind of jumps the shark with the Matt Vaughn-iness,
Oh, fun.
and isn't
Fun.
rated R. I don't think.
Huh.
So that kind of that's where I think this kind of tone with the R rating is perfect Matthew Vaughn. Trying to make
Yeah.
a PG-13 Apple Plus kind of movie, which was that originally was, I think. Not his bag with Argyle. But Kingsman absolutely was, because
Great.
I quite like this movie, and I have since it released all those years ago. So from the very jump, obviously, that like it's just the starting with Money for Nothing from Dire Straits. I mean, come on, absolutely starts in the pocket and doesn't leave. But before we get into our favorite parts of the movie, a little more rundown. It was a 2 hour 9 movie, 2 hours 9 minutes. Doesn't feel like it. It absolutely flies. Definitely one of the like, hey, if you're gonna do a little over 2 hours and you're an action movie, like all too often action movies, you could probably do the movie in like in 90 minutes, or you could go the John Wick and do 2.5 hours, or maybe 3, right? Like, but like 2 hour, a lot of movies lately are like, you could have done this quicker, or you could have gone longer for some cool stuff we didn't want you to cut. This movie perfectly right in the middle of 2 hours. The budget was anywhere between 81 to 94 million, according to a couple sources I found, which means, of course, double for marketing. And then grossed a little over $414 million. So definitely made its money back, and then some, which is why it got not 1, but 2, and soon to be 3 sequels. And did you know it's based on a comic book?
Yeah.
Kingsman:
read a
Secret
little bit
Service,
about that.
which was debuted in 2012. So this got a really quick turnaround. Vaughn himself, I believe, is an uncredited writer/creator of that comic book, but it is a Mark Millar. It's Millar? Does he say it like AR?
Not a clue.
No,
I don't,
reading
I
the
don't
wiki
think he
and I'm
says
like,
it like
I-
Miller.
Yeah.
I haven't heard it said in a long time, but I think Millar. And they've collaborated on some things before, and they both were like, comic books are too serious. We need, like, or spy movies have become too serious with Bourne and Bond. So they wanted to harken back to some older stuff. And then because Vaughn himself was a hot name in Hollywood coming off of Kick-Ass and X-Men First Class, this almost immediately got greenlit as soon as the comic book came out as an adaptation. So then we got Kingsman: The Golden Circle as the sequel, The Kingsman, and Kingsman 3. I don't know if it'll have 3 or just Kingsman: The Blue Blood as the title. That'll be the third movie and probably final movie in the series. And it was supposed to be out or filming this year, but it looks like that got pushed to 25, according to a recent interview from back in June. Taron Egerton is just quite a bit busy these days.
I would guess also because of the writer's strike last year.
That probably didn't help, but
Yeah.
Vaughn himself has done most of the writing on all of these.
I guess that's true.
Along
yeah.
with his normal screenplay co-partners, who is, I believe it's Jane Goldman is his normal screenplay partner on a lot of his projects. And it looks like that's who's still doing this one. And the writing seems said to have been done. It's really just finding time in the film schedule, which is difficult when Edgerton is a pretty hot name right now in terms of that young action star kind of role. So that'll be probably 26 before we see it, probably. So, but who knows? They might have a quick turnaround if they like clearly know what they want to do and can hit a solid timeline.
Which watching this first one, it very much looks like this is a lot is done in pre-production and like storyboarding and stuff, because you don't get fight scenes like that on a whim. Like, you storyboard all that stuff out. So if you storyboard well, your shooting process is much faster.
Yes, they're definitely not like trying to put the wheels on the car as they go along.
Right.
So some other cast and crew notes. Colin Firth playing Harry/Galahad. This is one of his most action-heavy roles. In fact, he was a little concerned, I guess, going into about his the choreography, but I think he pulled it off really well. Samuel L. Jackson, of course, playing our villain Valentine/V. And he had always wanted, I guess, to play a Bond villain, and figured this is the closest I'm ever gonna get, so I'll sign up. And then, fun bit of fan casting, Mark Hamill shows up because his character is in the comic books as Mark Hamill. Like, that's the character's name. So they brought in Mark Hamill to play a different version of that character.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
They definitely didn't name him that.
No, it's kind of though it would have been hilarious if they did, and it's just Mark Hamill doing a British accent.
That would be so
Mark
funny.
Hamill.
That would be so funny.
It would have been awesome. But it's kind of I got vibes of Garth Ennis, just straight up aping Simon Pegg's likeness for Huey in the Boys comics, and then years later they used Simon Pegg as Huey's dad. I thought that kind of vibe to it. Mark Strong as Merlin, I thought was a high note. Taron Egerton as Eggsy. Michael Caine showing up as Arthur, and Sophia, I should have looked up how to say her last name, Batella. She's an Algerian actress, and this was her first major film role.
Damn.
She would come on huge very quickly. She would have this, and then she would have Star Trek Beyond. She plays one of the aliens, J-Lo's, helps the main Star Trek crew. And then she would have The Mummy, and then it would be a bit of a break because some of the projects she was working on just kind of fell through. And then she would next show up now in this new Zack Snyder, the Rebel Moon two-parter thing. That's her most recent stuff. And then Sophie Cookson plays Roxy, who is another, I don't want to say newcomer, but she was purposely cast because she's an unknown British actor.
Was this Taron Egerton's first thing too?
I'd have to look up.
This might have been his first big thing.
Definitely one of his first more well-known roles. Where is the casting? The cast list. Taron Egerton. Yeah, he'd been in a few biofilms. Eddie the Eagle. He was in that, which was a ski jumper sports film.
That was after, right? Which
I
love
think it was
movie.
Filmed near the same time.
It was Eddie the Eagle came out 2015.
Yeah,
Eddie the Eagle. If I don't have it yet, but I will probably have it at some point because that is one of my favorite movies. I love that movie.
He was in a biographical film that was more of a British film, Testament of Youth, and then he was cast in this.
Okay.
Yeah, it was I guess a British Army officer biographical film. Yeah. Lastly on our fact sheet was awards. It was nominated for some Saturn Awards, but didn't win anything, unlike our last film that we talked about, which was Galaxy Quest. I'll leave the did you know interesting facts for as we go along. Try to pepper them in maybe chronologically if we go through the movie. But I've done a lot of talking at the beginning. Does either of you two want to jump in on what you liked or didn't like? But maybe let's start with what we liked about Kingsman, the Secret Service.
I talked a lot last time, Joey, so I'm gonna have you.
I don't have much to say. Like I said, it's a great it was because was it John Wick came out first, and I really loved the choreography and the fighting of that. And
that was 2014. That I know was 2014.
Yep. And then coming into this, I'm like, man, this is very similar kind of choreographing. So I kind of fell in love with that. Following the fight scenes are just super well fucking done. And then the music on top of each fight scene, even small encounters had really good sound to them. And No, it's like overall, it's a great fucking movie. I feel like everyone should at least see this, or purchase it. Also, put it in their collection.
Yes, that's. So I'll mark you as a yes for that because I'm gonna ask that later. But Chris,
I mean, this movie's fantastic. I love the fact that, and I feel like you don't get it as much these days. The well planned out. I was talking about this a little bit earlier. Well planned out, fight choreography, like camera placement, camera movements. I mean, we have the whole one shot in the church, which is not a one shot. It's a bunch of things cut together, and they use hidden cuts, which if you ever watch any like one shot things happen that aren't CG, there are always hidden cuts. What is it, the movie 1917?
Oh, I love that film. Yeah,
really?
That one has cuts in there that are so well hidden. It is meant to be a one
take look,
look. But like they go to such lengths in that movie to hide cuts. But just like to go into Kingsman, I feel like that was like the scene specifically that brought in one take action shots of that magnitude. And there's a lot of stuff in this movie when it comes to fight choreography and where the camera is placed and how the camera moves throughout all of that. That is just so well done in a time where you have things like Taken 3 where he jumps over a fence and there's 17 cuts happening. You instead have 17 punches with one shot in this kind of movie. And it's so much more different, and that's the kind of action that I think hits the best because it tells the story the best. That's what I love about this.
Speaking of, so that your talk about like it kind of made like one of the first big one-shot action scenes that reminded me of Daredevil season 1. So I had to look that up. I was like, oh yeah,
yes.
That was also 2015. So in a 12-month span, we got John Wick, which is one of the best modern action films I think of the 25th century or 21st century. I think that's a fair thing to say. Then we had Kingsman. 2 months later, just in April, would be Daredevil. And they had that, I believe, the hallway fight scene when he rescues that kid. And he has that.
That's like the beginning of the season, right?
Yeah, it's like right there at the beginning before he gets the suit.
Yeah.
It's like one of the greatest action sequences of all time.
And that was based off of Old Guy? What was the name of it's like a side-scrolling one shot. Like they got a lot of inspiration from
there was the Raid movies did some of that.
Yeah,
but that was some, like, I think it was Hong Kong cinema. There was one that they did that.
Yeah, I can't.
That they were riffing off of.
Yeah, they made a remake of it with Josh Brolin, didn't they?
Yeah.
Recently,
God,
I'll look it up while you keep going.
But that scene set to Freebird. Still to this day, and then the intro right before, like, with the Hail Satan and Have a Lovely Day, like vibe rolling right into that action scene. I mean, just that sequence alone is worth watching this movie for.
Yeah,
because it's just perfectly executed, and then you get the immediate fallout with the "This ain't that kind of movie," and then the gunshot. Like that whole stretch is just excellent action filmmaking. And like worth seeing the film for. So I have a bunch of notes I was writing as I go because I've seen this movie. This is my second time this year watching this movie.
Wow.
I just watched it on a lark back in April. I was like, oh, that was before we decided to make where we're doing this show. So
yeah,
that's bound to happen. So number one, like I said, the intro, Money for Nothing, Dire Straits. Start right in the pocket, right with the CGI intro, doing the in association with Marv and all that. Then the opening action scene with Jack Davenport's Lancelot, he gets cut in half, so you're getting that this is kind of a comic book violence vibe with an action movie, which again very perfect in pocket for Matthew Vaughn. Other things as we go, I really like Sophia Bolletta's Gazelle character. Like this is a movie that doesn't, until the very, very end, doesn't do anything even like overtly sexual. Which kind of, like, I think was the point in that why it ends with the princess character doing that. I believe Vaughn was in an interview saying he wanted that innuendo to actually come from a woman this time, because it's almost always the males in spy movies. He was actually criticized, I think, for that at the time, it being a little misogynistic, but I thought it fit with what they were trying to go for, especially given that it is an R-rated movie, right? Like it wasn't like it came out of nowhere. It just, up to that point, hadn't been a thing in the film. I clocked a Nikita reference, and I'm going to continue to harp on this. You both need to watch that show, Nikita. It's amazing.
Okay.
Because that's when he's like going through the movies that he's trying to explain to Eggsy
right.
about what he's doing.
Yeah.
And Nikita is one of those movies. And it's also a spy show. Because it was a French film, La Femme Nikita, and then it became an American spy show. So you should watch the show, because it's Maggie Q, Mission Impossible, the show. It's incredible. I loved Mark Strong as Merlin in that kind of Q type role. Excellent stuff, especially the sequence with the parachute when he's like, but one of you doesn't have a parachute. It's excellent. And have you guys seen the sequel?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's been a while. I don't think I've seen it outside.
I think the last time I saw it was in theater.
Yeah. How he goes out. I mean, it sucks that we had to lose that character, but it's awesome.
But it made me love Country Roads.
Dude, it's so, what a time that was for that. Because that was also the year, I believe, Fallout 76 was getting at least announced, I think.
And that is the same year that Logan Lucky came out, where that same song is like part of the climax.
Sometimes
Crazy.
things just, they cyclically roll together like that.
Yeah.
It's weird how it all comes out. I did enjoy them not like positioning Roxy as a love interest character to Eggsy, which you don't often see in some films where, like, you know, they're paired together and then they end up being together. That clearly does not become a thing. I still don't know how to feel about the dog plot point. On the one hand, he's supposed to be a spy, so, like, you should be able to kill a dog. But the other time, like, clearly they're just fucking with them.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, the church scene, it's an all-time classic. And then I loved the pomp and circumstance head exploding. It's just so over the top.
Yeah.
And then the cartoonish violence to it, where they don't show the blood. It's just all different colors and different, like showing like a mushroom kind of cloud. Just excellent work all around. Good stuff. But yeah, that's really all I liked for this movie. There really isn't a lot to dislike. It's really well paced. It moves along super, super well. It's not definitely a movie, I don't think, that was like truly game changing in the action sense like a John Wick was. And I don't even know if in the absence of John Wick, if it would have, because it really only does have two, like, really just the one awesome action sequence, which was the church scene. There's some other solid
I just got a couple.
nips. No, I'm not talking like over the top, like, oh my god, this is why I want to go see the movies kind of thing.
I kind of love the bar scene.
Yeah, the bar scene's great. Like, that's the other one. I'm like, that's where I'm like,
that's kind of like,
right? And then the finales isn't as good as those other moments.
No.
Yeah,
it still tries to be.
Yeah, it's still good. Don't get me wrong, but it was definitely a movie that peaked early.
I think that's also where it leans into the spy genre, because if you're doing a spy, you don't want to be out there blatantly having a fight with people. Like, you wanna save those big fights for meaningful times, because otherwise your cover's probably blown.
Yeah,
on the deal. So
true,
plays into that.
Yeah.
Going back to the one-shotter thing, the movie was Old Boy. If you ever look up Old Boy, like, one-shot fight, it's this awesome side scroll of this one guy fighting like 20 people, and it's all in one take. And the original, because it was a foreign film, and at the time that they made it, they don't have like nowadays you're protected a lot more than you used to be, especially when it comes to foreign films. Like, in foreign films, they'll just smack you and they will make you unconscious on set, and they don't hold any punches going into this fight. So I would very much recommend look up Old Boy fight scene and just watch that. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's been on my list to watch that and those Raid films, because that came out the same year as Dread 3D or 2012, which is one of my all-time favorite like kind of comic book action, thrillers. Or not even thriller, but like action movie. And those have been on my watch list for some time. So I'm hoping we'll get to them if maybe if some of you guys have those movies. You don't? Or I guess we'll have to add them then. We might have to do like a special like fan request or like pull a hey, we want to watch these, start compiling and we want to watch these movie lists, and then picking from there. We just rent a movie.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Get like hey, this episode we're gonna do something different. Put your movies in the comments, and then we put all those on a wheel and do something like that.
Yeah. So if you're this far into the episode and there's like, oh my god, I can't believe you haven't seen these movies, put them in the comments that you want us to watch these movies, and then we'll reference them back. Also, it'll help the algorithm. Please do that. Like, subscribe, that kind of thing. Because it is a YouTube show and a podcast.
Chilling out. Let's go.
Hey.
That's how America and social media works.
So hey, yeah, hit those 5-star reviews and leave comments on things that you can, because it helps algorithms. And we are on Apple and Spotify, iHeartRadio, a few other bigger ones, and then obviously the YouTube show as well. That's all up. We're still got a couple tweaks to make in terms of the look and feel of the show, but I think we're getting there. So anything you guys didn't like about this movie? Anything that sticks out as didn't land with you?
Hanger.
Yeah, the green screen's noticeable in some spots.
I was like, damn, that was a slap in the face right away. I was like, say, shit.
Yeah, it is, but also it is supposed to be over the top, and I feel like that plays into the thing. I think the one thing that I disliked, but it was also funny, was the blatant McDonald's product placement. But at least it was funny. Thank you for a Happy Meal.
Yeah.
It's like, how are you having a one-on-one with billionaires and you're gonna go with McDonald's?
Well, it's also, I think, the point is that Valentine himself is not, like, he's a billionaire, but he's not like old money, like Arthur, like the Kingsman.
You know what? They were probably making a statement of how
they're getting
in the
real
future McDonald's is only going to be for the rich people because they want to up their prices so much.
Like
that was one of my favorite parts.
There's only the Taco Bell and Demolition Man.
Oh yeah. That was also one of my favorite parts about this movie, is that there is just a removal of many billionaires.
Yeah,
that was pretty great.
Maybe the current world could use that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to, incite any political violence or anything like that. But
political? This is all money.
Hey, money is political now, so.
I mean, I guess that's true.
And I gotta flex that poli-sci degree I got. But, all right, so yeah, anything else you guys? I will say this, because we're probably not gonna. At least odds are we don't get to the sequels. So, what are your guys' thoughts on Kingsman as a franchise? Like, do you like the sequel more than this, or the other way around?
Oh no, I think the first one's better.
First one's better.
I think the second one's not awful. What was it? They added Jeff Bridges,
Pedro Pascal, and Channing Tatum.
And then also Julianne Moore was the bad guy?
Yeah, and Halle Berry was their Q/Merlin.
That's right. I also like it less because they take away one of the gut punches of the first movie. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Mute things if you haven't seen it. The fact that they bring Harry back. Like, but he got shot in the face. Like, I understand that you were a spy.
People do actually live from those things, though. Normally they're not okay afterwards.
Yeah. But like, yeah. A lot of the times it's not when it's through the front of the face.
Normally,
it's
no,
when it's through the
very
side of the face.
It is very, comic booky. But I mean, people survive falling out of planes. Like, that has happened.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
It takes away.
I agree.
It takes away some of the stuff.
Let's take the fact that Samuel L. Jackson, when he took the shot, was also like trying to peer away. So it's not like a clean shot to the head also.
That's true. However,
you can.
In the second one, he's missing an eye, which means that it went around his eye enough to destroy his eye, which I'm pretty sure there's brain right behind that.
I agree. I'm just saying, in the comic book realm, these movies exist. That is a hand-waveable thing.
Hand waveable.
It is. It's one of those. Remember the old '80s trope, like it's just a flesh wound. Like that's what that is to comic book kind of supervillain movies, which are what these are. Like this is a universe where supervillains exist. You know,
for Kingsman, a bullet wound is like falling in Lord of the Rings.
I'll have to rewatch the scene because if he looks a little to the left, gets shot over here, he still might be okay.
Yeah. You know, I mean,
time to analyze.
I gotta take the scene apart.
I mean, I think they do a good enough job of like, hey, they they got that pack thing on them, and like they can they have this technology, which only works in certain instances, and this is one of them. I'm like, it's fine. Like they do just enough, bare minimum, to say, this is a problem in the story. We have dealt with it. Let us move on. Like, yeah.
Protective.
It just takes away some of the punch. That's what I'm saying.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree, but I think it does lead to some good situational comedy with them both doing the Galahad thing, and then the fact that, oh no, he was going crazy, but he's actually right. Pedro Pascal's character's the bad guy. Like, yeah, that kind of stuff. I don't think blowing up Kingsman and then like Roxy was a good decision.
No, that was bad. I did like the fact that like going against normal spy movies, like he's still in the relationship with the princess. In the second movie, it's like that
continues it. Like they go through with it.
Yeah. It's like that's a big part of the story in the second one. Is like, I want to continue having this relationship, and like I think they have some problems, and then they go through trying to fix those problems with the relationship, which is like nothing you see in a spy movie nowadays. It's like, oh, you're the sex I'm attracted to. And let's have
one
a
of us is gonna die.
One of us is gonna die.
Like with Bond.
Let's have a one-night stand because tomorrow one of us is not waking up.
Like, I liked that in No Time to Die. I thought that was actually really emotionally well done. You guys ever watch that?
I haven't seen that one yet.
Ooh, I quite enjoyed it. It's long as fuck,
I think it's on
Prime.
I think it's on Prime. All the Bond movies are. I've been meaning. I was looking at watching that one the other day, and I decided to go with Dead Reckoning Part 1 instead because that just got on.
Excellent
and that
choice.
Was so good.
Excellent choice. Good. Also, if you like that movie, watch Person of Interest, which is also on Prime.
Is it really? Oh, okay.
It's free with ads, but watch it. You should watch it.
Yeah.
Because there's definitely like I think Christopher McQuarrie really liked Person of Interest because, basically they have the bad guy from the show as the villain.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Like, especially you get later into the seasons in Person of Interest when they start really, like... I love that backstory. I've explained it on many shows before, where basically Jonathan Nolan lied about what the show was going to be about to get it made. He's like, hey, we're going to do this procedural, we're going to solve a crime of the week, and the AI stuff's just set dressing. Fingers crossed, it's really not. It actually becomes, like, the entire point of the movie, and, like, we have deep philosophical discussions about the nature of AI in the real world. It gets crazy.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. But
I had no idea that Haley Atwell was in Dead Reckoning. It was crazy, because I just gone through a whole MCU Infinity Saga run. I watched the What If series, and I was like, man, Haley Atwell needs to be in more things. And then I watched Dead Reckoning. I'm like, oh, she's in more things.
Exactly. And then The Kingsman is the prequel that has released. I believe me and Joey went to see that in theaters.
Mm-hmm. I haven't seen that one.
You haven't seen that. It's a serviceable prequel. I think it's sharply in third place for me in terms of the Kingsman movies. But solid film. Ray Fiennes did a great job as the lead. Mm-hmm. And it's a solid kind of origin story for what is a pretty unique and cool universe. So I enjoyed that. Mm-hmm. But so we've been going about 30 minutes, give or take. And like I said in our pre-show, this will be a shorter one because we all really like this movie. I don't think it's ever hit the peak, cult classic that the other ones that we've talked about have either hit critically or cult classic status, like The Godfather and Galaxy Quest. And we'll have to see if our next films maybe hit that mark a little more. Speaking of, I'm going to transition to our third screen. Do I not have the thing? I don't. Okay. I'll have to make a scene. But anyway, we're going over here. I need to load the host wheel.
Yeah,
I didn't.
We haven't done this.
I didn't take Fusion off the wheel.
Weeks.
So, this is where we're going to spin the wheel to decide who our next host is going to be. The wheel is spinning. Looks like it is Chris.
Yo, let's go.
All right, so I will load up. I will load up Chris's list here, and we will pick. So you don't have anything to add to the list?
No, I don't have anything to add. I'm just kind of thinking in my head. I'm gonna guess. Oh man, I want to guess a movie and see if it's right. I'm gonna guess the movie that I kind of really want to watch with you guys, City Slickers.
Okay, that's a poll.
I haven't watched it in a while, and I haven't, and I love Billy Crystal recently. I watched Princess Bride recently. I'm like, Billy Crystal.
Oh, it's
so great, man.
Spinning the wheel.
All right, here we go.
The wheel is... Oh, one of my favorite comedies, The Other Guys.
Oh, yes! Great one! That's so good. I love that one.
All right, indeed. Let me go back to the three.
Yes.
So we're doing The Other Guys.
I think I have the unrated version too, so...
Which is itself 15 years old in 2 days. 14 years old in 2 days. August 5th, 2010 release date.
Wow.
God, that seems like so long ago.
Yes.
But yeah, that was one of the last Adam McKay, Will Ferrell endeavors before their blow up. I enjoy this movie. I'm looking forward to it.
This is one of my favorite comedies of all time.
Dude, and I actually
I don't do straight comedies, but
I just got the Blu-ray at a thrift store a few weeks ago.
Oh heck yeah.
I had the DVD, I never had the Blu-ray, so looking forward to it. So in the comments, let us know, or in reviews, whatever platform you have to communicate with us. Let us know what you thought about Kingsman: The Secret Service. Real quick before we do that, is this an add to the collection movie for you, Joe?
100% yes.
Chris?
I believe I already have it, so yes.
So yes, by default. And for me, obviously it is as well. I've actually upgraded, and I have the 4K of both this and the Golden Circle. I don't own Kingsman.
Nice.
But I figure maybe when the sequel rolls around, I'll probably maybe look at seeing if I can find the Kingsman on a cheap sale. So that would be a good Prime Day movie for me if I could find like a $10 4K for that.
Have you watched the 4K version yet?
I have not. Other than this, the digital we watched was the digital version of the 4K.
Okay. I was just wondering how the picture quality was just on the 4K.
I have to look. The reviews of it were pretty good. I think the transfer, I use, I guess, Blu-ray.com, I think. Their reviewer guy gave it an 8 out of 10 on the transfer.
Nice, okay.
And a lot of their like modern, like if it's a good 4K, 8 out of 10 is a pretty good score. Some get 10s. Like I think a Major League got a 10. But yeah.
Trying to figure out like what year a 4K would not really benefit.
Yeah, because this is in the modern scale of like, it really isn't that old of a movie. You know, how much of a jump is it from, Blu-ray to 4K? But a lot of them were shot on 4K cameras. So like it's more feasible to do where the transfer is going to be, as good as you remember in theaters. So, all right. So that's the last thing we wanted to touch on. Other Guys is our next movie from Chris's collection. Let us know what you thought about Kingsman in the comments, and or what's your thoughts on The Other Guys, because this will be about 2 weeks before you see this episode for The Other Guys. Of course, leave a like, subscribe, do the things that help the algorithm as best you can. I certainly appreciate it. And we will see you in 2 weeks.
2 Sam Jackson movies in a row! Yeah!
Oh, yeah! 2 in a row! I didn't even think about that.
Let's make it 3, guys! Come on!
Hey, Joey.
Time to heavy load those wheels.
Aim for the bushes.
Aim for the bushes.
I don't understand it.
Here comes my hero!
There isn't even an awning.
Yeah, there's not even an awning. What is it?
Is that freaking?
Yes, and don't worry, people. We will absolutely be quoting that movie during the show. Don't worry. Like, the whole rant about the lion and the tuna and the kelp.
No one
fucking gave a system to breathe. on the island.
Oh man, the constant TLC references. Oh my god, it just.
I hope you like prison food and dick.
Someone's been playing Grand Theft Auto. Oh my god, there will be so much that if we ever do the Dark Knight and we talk about the Arlenauts video, the Arlenauts Bane
yes!
Don't worry, audience. This is just a peek into our Discord calls every time we get together. Stupid shit like this.
What did you eat? A frowny biscuit?
Uh,
that all stays in.
Absolutely. I'm cutting it right now. See you in 2 weeks, people.